Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, is Kobe Bryant the closest thing to Michael Jordan that we've seen? Plus why Ezekiel Elliott might have benefited from his 6-game suspension. And who deserves the most blame for the latest Seahawks drama? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Last night, Kobe became the first player in NBA history to have not one, but 2 numbers retired by the same team. Kobe watched his number 8 and number 24 both get raised into the rafters at Staples. He won 5 NBA titles, just one behind Michael Jordan, who he was often compared to in his career. Before the game, Steve Kerr gave his thoughts on the Jordan-Kobe comparison. Let's take a listen.
Kobe is the closest thing to Michael. You know, everybody's been compared to Michael. LeBron has been compared to Michael. I don't think LeBron is Michael at all. I think he's a very different player, different mentality, mindset. Kobe has the same mindset and mentality that MJ had. The assassin, I'm going to rip your throat out with my scoring, you know, low post, dominant fadeaway jumper, footwork. I thought Kobe's footwork was one of the best parts of his game, probably the most underrated because everybody focused on his shooting and his athleticism, but his footwork got him open. And that's where he was so similar to Michael. He could just get any shot he wanted.
Shannon, do you agree with Kerr?
Yeah, that's obvious. Kobe patterned everything he's ever done on the basketball court after Michael Jordan. From the way he walked, Michael Jordan was the first guy that we saw, tongue hanging out his mouth, dunking, shooting the shot. That's what Kobe did. The way he wore the knee sleeve on his leg, the armband up on his elbow, he's a carbon copy of Michael Jordan. And eventually he ended up going bald just like Michael. But Skip, it's okay. LeBron is a totally different player. Steve Kerr summed it up best because both of those guys, Michael and Kobe, viewed that the best way for me to lead is like, look, guys, I'm coming. Y'all need to follow me. LeBron, on the other hand, is like, I'm coming, and I'm going to push you, or I'm going to drag you along with me. That's the only difference, Skip. I mean, Kobe and Michael, they were great scorers. No question about it. But there's a reason why LeBron has almost 3 times the triple-doubles as Kobe Bryant. He has more triple-doubles, 12 more than Kobe and Michael combined, because he was a different type player. As Steve Kerr also said, they were assassins because they're trying to rip your throat out by scoring the basketball. LeBron James said, if I need to go get 57, ask the Wizards. I go get it. If I need to get 17 assists, I'll go get it. If I need to get 19 rebounds, I'll go get it. See, LeBron views it like, I'm going to rip your throat out by making the right play. And that's what he did. So he's always been more Magic Johnson than Michael Jordan. And that's okay. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. Well, Peter, don't send for me. That's just an analogy. There's a lot of different ways to get to the bottom line or to get to the top. Kobe patterned his game after Michael. They kept scoring with what they did very well. That low post move, the fadeaway jumper, everything. Michael Jordan hit a game-winning shot. He did this. Kobe hit a game-winning shot. He did this. Everything, Skip. I mean, there's nothing. So in other words, Kobe's a copycat. Bron is original. Original.
That's how you sum it up.
Yeah. But it's okay. Me personally, I like the number 8 better because we've seen 24s, we've seen 33s, we've seen 32s, we've seen a lot of different numbers. Is there another player that's currently wearing number 8 in the NBA? We don't see number 8. So I personally like 8 better, but that's no shame because Kobe, copied Mikey, won 5 titles. They're very, very similar. They could score the basketball better than anybody else other than Wilt. So that's okay. They're both 2 guards. Got no problem with that. But don't sleep on my boy 2-3.
So you seem to be sort of dismissing Kobe as this Michael wannabe, like he was trying to be Michael, but he couldn't be. And I got to tell you, he got close. He was an almost MJ. That's how good he was at impersonating Michael Jordan.
Are we at my parents' 50th reunion, or are we at a high school dance where slow dragging matters? Because close doesn't matter. He wasn't Michael. Michael did it first. Michael did it better. So what are we talking about, Skip Bayless?
Well, it's hard to impersonate somebody without coming across as a very poor man's version of Michael Jordan, and Kobe was no poor man's Michael Jordan. He was close. again, I'm not going to give him Michael because nobody was Michael Jordan, and please don't put LeBron James in the same sentence with Michael Jordan. But I will put Kobe at least in the same hemisphere with Michael Jordan. He did all those things you said, but in the end, he was a pretty great Kobe Bryant.
Oh, he was an unbelievable player.
Yeah. And by the way, just a quick thought off last night, because I did watch, didn't go, but I watched it. The Lakers put on a great show for Kobe last night. It was well done. I want to congratulate Jeannie Buss, Magic Johnson, and that whole organization. And the stars came out. Greatness, appreciated greatness last night, because at one point they're showing in the front row Bill Russell sitting next to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That is some serious greatness right there.
Yes.
Right there before your very eyes.
Everybody to see. That's a lot of NBA titles. That's a lot of MVPs.
With Shaq there, with those three, they had 21 rings just among the three of them. So that's pretty great. But now back to this discussion. I liked what Steve Kerr said, and he talked about mindset. And this has always been my issue with your man, 2-3. You're LeBron James. You are Shannon Sharp.
Okay.
And in the end, it's about being an assassin. And I don't sense assassin in LeBron James. I never have. Whatever that killer will is, I don't sense it in LeBron the way I did in Kobe and ultimately at the top in Michael Jordan. And they were, you can't, like Kobe can't fake assassin. You're either born with that in your heart and in your soul, in your gut, or you're not. You can either do that at the highest level or you can't. And Kobe could do that. He was 5-2 in the finals. We can go into what help he had with Shaq, obviously, but with no Shaq, he still won 2 more.
Yeah.
And all of his individual greatness came as 2-4 posts. Now, I liked 8 better, not because I liked the number 8 better. He was raw and real as 8. That was some crazy athleticism and killer will. And again, Shaq's not going to win without Kobe or vice versa.
Can you, if you don't mind me asking, a LeBron James with a 9-year prime Shaq, do they win less than 3 titles or more than 3 titles?
I don't know. Who's the competition? I don't know.
You know this competition, the same competition.
I don't know.
The Spurs.
What, you mean go back and put him on the Lakers?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
I'm not sure.
You know.
I'm not sure.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, they put. Yeah, if you put LeBron on the free throw line with 2 seconds
There you
left,
go.
I'm closing
There
my
you go.
eyes.
There you go.
Well, that's what he's just not clutch in the end the way Kobe and Michael were always clutch in the end. If they're playing one-on-one, I would never take LeBron over Michael Jordan because LeBron would just come apart psychologically. Michael would just trash talk him into a psychological wreck.
As he take that L, because all LeBron's gonna do is back him down at 6'8.5" and blue right over the top
he would
of
just
him.
get destroyed psychologically.
That's that speed bump. LeBron running
You know
over.
what? That guy Jordan, he could jump a little bit. You know, and he was way stronger than you're giving him credit for. He is as
He's stronger than LeBron?
as the phrase. Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is what we know.
Whew.
This is what we know. Has LeBron ever played with a guy that averaged 36 points and 15 rebounds in the NBA Finals over 3 straight finals? Has he ever played with a guy that dominant? Yes or no?
No.
Because Kobe Bryant did. Because that's what Shaq averaged from 2001
Yeah,
to
but you got to give Kobe. Then he played with Pau Gasol.
Whoa.
Okay.
Hold on. Pau Gasol's about to have 20,000 points
No,
and
he's pretty
10,000
good.
rebounds.
He's still playing
Is he
pretty
going to the
well.
Hall of Fame? Oh,
I
yeah.
assume so. Seems like everybody goes to the Hall of Fame in
I'm not
basketball.
talking about
Well,
everybody.
it does.
I'm talking.
Yeah.
So what guy you know that has 20,000 points and 10,000 rebounds that's not in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
really-
None of them.
So now we're doing Pau Gasol? Is
No,
that what-
I'm just saying. See, Skip, here's the thing what you do. LeBron is not that assassin.
He is not.
Was Magic Johnson an assassin?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Rip your guts out.
There you go.
You know?
So that's
Tear
what-
your throat out.
And
You know,
so
he was.
what Magic would do is that sometimes he took the last shot, and sometimes he back threw it down to Kareem. Kareem hit the sky hook. Sometimes Byron Scott. Sometimes James Worthy. That's the difference. Kobe and Michael are light because scoring was the way they felt they could rip your heart out. Magic and LeBron feel I can make a pass. LeBron said, "Hey, ask Andre Iguodala, can I rip your heart out?" No change. I got the receipt right here to show you, Joey. You see the rebound?
You're talking about that block?
Yeah, ripped his heart out.
J.R. Smith ripped his heart out. He cuts in front of him and cuts him off at the pass. Iguodala has to slow down his dribble, and LeBron caught up to him.
Hey,
You're going to take credit for that?
Hey.
That's the most overrated block in the history
Don't do that,
of
Skip.
basketball.
Don't do that.
In the history.
Well,
There's never been a more overrated block.
How many
than
times
that
did he
one.
block Steph Curry in the NBA Finals that year?
I don't know. What
You
does that
know,
matter?
Skip.
Steph Curry's 6'3". So what?
So now, is there a height limit in basketball?
Michael Jordan was 6-0 with 6 MVPs in the finals.
Whoa.
Do you think LeBron could have done that? If I put LeBron James on those Bulls, what do you think would have happened? Nothing would have happened.
He played with another 50. He played with 50 greatest players of all time.
He made them greatest players of all time.
Hold on, I could have sworn Dennis Rodman won those rebounding titles and defensive player of the
He
year
could rebound.
in Detroit.
Dennis Rodman was the greatest below-the-rim rebounder I ever saw.
Did he? Or
About
did he?
6'8".
Did he?
Dominating? I think not. By himself? I think not.
So let me get this straight. Here's a guy that led the league in rebounding 5 or 6, 7 times. Guy once averaged, 17 rebounds a game at 6'8". In the land when the big man was king, the Shaqs, the Patrick Ewings, the David Robbins, the Hakeem Olajuwon. When those guys dominated, here's a guy that's 6'8" that led the league in rebounding. But now all of a sudden, see, I know what you're doing, Skip Bayless. What you try to do is minimize everybody that played with Michael to elevate him. But by the same token, LeBron couldn't have done that. Give him those.
Do you really think Scottie Pippen's a top 50 player? Baloney!
It doesn't matter what I
He's
think.
not. He was a really nice
Can I ask you a
player,
question?
long defender.
Can I ask you a
get
question?
that.
Can I ask you a question? When they had the celebration in 1996 and they had the 50 greatest players come on the court, did Scottie Pippen have a jacket and was he on the court? Yes or no?
What does that mean? I just told you he's not. He's a product of Michael Jordan.
So,
don't ask me stupid questions like that.
Yeah,
Obviously, he got voted into
then,
it.
so what are we talking
but he's
about?
a product. I'm just telling you, he's a product of Michael Jordan. And now he's taking shots at Michael Jordan. It's just absurd.
No, you got upset about that because the facts speak for themselves. He said if you look at the stats, so not just talking about scoring as you do because all you want to talk about is scoring. He said, what about rebounding?
I want to talk about lifting a team, willing a team to championships. LeBron James is 3-5 in the NBA Finals. 5? Yeah. He's lost 5 finals? Michael went 6-0 and Kobe went 5-2.
And he's been favored.
That's all you need to know.
He's been favored twice in the NBA Finals. Was Michael Jordan ever the underdog in an NBA Finals? Yes or no, Skip?
I don't know.
You do know. How you come on here with no argument to make? You just throwing out numbers.
I just know what happened. What's the finish? What's the conclusion? What's the result? 6-0. I can't remember who the favorites were.
If you don't mind me,
they probably weren't the favorite against Magic in the first one.
Actually, they were. If you don't mind me asking, prior to him getting Scottie Pippen, can you tell the people at home that probably didn't have televisions or they were too young to remember, can you tell the people what happened? He got into the NBA in 1984. Prior to him getting Scottie Pippen, can you tell the people what happened to Michael Jordan in the playoffs every year until he got Scottie Pippen?
He kept running into this guy named Larry Bird and this team called the Bad Boy Pistons. They were so much stronger and more mature than he was. Yeah. And he scared him to death. Yeah.
Hold on, Skip. I'm gonna give you get one choice. You can have
6-0.
You can have excuses or results.
Yeah.
Pick one and stand in the corner.
You've got 5 excuses going for you.
You got
5.
Excuses. Oh, you keep telling me Michael Jordan is the greatest, but he couldn't beat Larry Bird. He couldn't beat the Bad Boy Pistons.
Not in their prime. He was a baby. He was growing up.
You mean to tell me God with sneakers couldn't beat Larry Bird? Slow dude that couldn't jump over a credit card or a postage stamp? And Michael Jordan, he could jump. He could really
Larry
jump.
Bird called him God in sneakers after he scored 63 in a playoff game.
And a common dude from French Lick, Indiana, beat God in sneakers.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll talk about
my goodness.
where these players
How that
rank.
happened, Skip?
Because Larry Bird's, I've got him, 7th on my all-time greatest list?
We're going to talk about that later.
He's better than LeBron James. I'll take Larry Bird any day over LeBron. Shot for my life. I'll take Larry Bird.
Okay,
Who you taking?
Okay, Skip.
You taking that guy with that shaky hand?
We're going to talk about that later.
You taking that 74% free throw shooter?
We're going to talk about that later.
Well, I'm just saying.
I want you to tell me why he couldn't beat them.
These guys could make clutch free throws. LeBron is a terrible clutch free throw shooter.
He's not a better free throw shooter than Kobe, but his field goal percentage, his three-point percentage, His PER is higher than Kobe. He shot better from the floor than Michael. He
Not
shot
much.
better from.
No, he didn't. I got 50% and 50%.
No.
Career.
Michael Jordan was 49.
For
But
their
anyway,
career. No, I got 50 and 50.
Yeah, you rounded his up. But I know, I look at those same stats, but I ain't want to use those stats. He's a better three-point shooter. Can I, if you don't mind me asking, was the three-point line, did it just come in? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it came in 79, Jordan.
Yep.
My math might be a little off, but I'm thinking, because if I'm not mistaken,
Nobody cared.
Hold on, Skip.
Nobody cared. Nobody
Skip.
tried it. They
Okay.
ran from the three-point line. They thought it was silly.
Okay, what about, let's see, I think, if I'm not mistaken, my math, sometimes these numbers, I got so many numbers, I'm like the Rain Man. Just
Yeah. Here's the two numbers you need are 6 and 0.
In 1996,
you remember those numbers?
1996, were teams attempting the three-point shot then?
Not much.
Did they attempt it? A yes or no?
some, yeah.
Okay, so
Not
Kobe-
like today. Not like the Houston Rockets.
So hold on,
Yeah.
Skip. Does LeBron James play for the Houston Rockets?
No, it's just the era he's playing in. It's the three-point shooting era. Everybody, the Spurs revolutionized basketball. 6, 7 years ago, they said, you know what? We're going to shoot a whole bunch of threes.
We're not
and we're gonna
talking
beat
about
you.
the Spurs.
We are talking about
talking
the
about
Spurs.
how you're trying to minimize LeBron.
No, I'm not.
By
It's just,
try-
look, LeBron is a better all-around basketball player than Michael Jordan or Kobe
Okay.
Bryant. I give you that. He's a little
You ain't
better
gotta give it to
passer.
me.
No,
A
he's
lot better.
little better passer. Okay, you know what? On passer, I'll give you a lot better, except those other two guys were really good passers. They just didn't care that much about passing.
So now they don't care.
Well,
Well, LeBron didn't care about scoring.
Hey, listen, Kobe and Michael could have averaged 10 assists a game if they
I-
wanted to.
I
if
don't
they
know
had
what they
wanted
could-
to.
Joy,
you give me
I
the
could have
argument.
been a
of-
mathematician.
Okay.
I could have been a doctor
Yeah,
if I wanted to.
what do you say about your guy, LeBron James? You say he could average 40 a game if he wanted to. Well, I'm giving you the same argument. Why didn't he want to then? Because he wants to be.
You know
these
why?
two guys were selfish. Both of them were selfish to a fault, but they were absolute assassins.
Okay.
They had this fire, that Mamba mentality for Kobe Bryant, and the killer will for the original 23, the real 23, Michael Jordan.
Okay, I'm looking at it like this. Just the way, let's take it like this here.
And by the way, you want to talk about a wannabe? How about LeBron being a wannabe?
Wannabe what?
Choosing to wear 23 out of high school? Good luck with that.
But anyway, as I was saying, okay, you can have John Wick, Michael Jordan and Kobe are John Wick. LeBron is James Bond. He gonna have him a martini, got a nice lady, but he gonna get the guy in the end. So what do you want to be, John Wick or James Bond? Sophisticated. He gonna do what he do.
Well, I'm not giving LeBron James Bond.
He is James
He was a
Bond.
bad, you know what?
Did you see that man in D.C.?
Hey.
Did you see what he did in D.C.?
Against the Wizards?
Now it's the Wizards.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, let me ask you a
Against the Wizards.
Whoa, whoa.
Look at what LeBron's been doing. They've won 18 out of 19, and I don't see one significant quality win. I just don't.
Okay.
Look at the competition in the
Okay,
Eastern
your team-
Conference
your
today.
team-
Is Larry Bird walking through that door in Boston? I think not.
Well, Michael Jordan couldn't beat the Big Three until they got old. He couldn't beat the bad boy Pistons until they got old.
Until he grew up.
Why couldn't he beat them in their prime, Skip? If he's that dog, like you said he is,
He's
he's
that
supposed
dog.
to take over the yard.
Hey, we're talking about all-time top 10 great players.
Really?
Yeah.
And he couldn't do that. But he's the greatest.
Yeah.
He sits at the head of the table.
He does.
But he couldn't. Not until they got old.
LeBron's lost 5 finals. How can you defend that?
Because you know
The numbers you need to get through your head, because I know you can't comprehend the math.
I understand.
3 and 5, 6 and 0. That's all you need to know.
So why did he only get to 6?
Huh?
Did they only have 5? Yeah, why?
He was forced to take 2 years off.
Okay, so
or
what
he would have gotten to 8.
Okay, so he played 16 years. So what happened to those
You know
other
what?
years?
I'm going to give you durability. What LeBron James is doing right now is all-time great.
Okay,
He is. You know what he said the other night? I'm shattering the mold. I give LeBron that. Nobody, neither Kobe nor Michael took care of themselves late in their career the way this guy is. He's going to shatter. He's going to have longevity records that nobody can touch.
Okay.
Because he's playing 40 minutes a night at age, almost 33 in his 15th year.
Okay.
Nobody ever did this
you all-
before. And so he's going to pile up numbers, regular season numbers, that are staggering, and he's going to lose to the Spurs or Golden State this year. He's going to lose again.
First
He's going
of
to
all,
be 3 and 6.
Spurs are not going.
Yes, they are.
But
Hey, they're better
what?
than Golden
No,
State.
they're
If they get healthy, they get right, you better look out.
What about if Golden State get right? Because Steph Curry's not playing.
Well, they had him last year. They had him.
And they bust you.
Wait, who was up 23 in game
They
one?
beat you.
23, up 23?
They beat you
Playoffs.
without KD.
I only
You
care about the
guys won
playoffs.
22. You
I
guys
only
won
care
22.
about game 1 of the Western Conference
just-
Finals. What was the score?
Y'all
The
lost.
Spurs were up
They lost.
23. Kawhi Leonard got hurt by Zaza Pacheep shot.
Atlanta
would have
was
been
up
over.
28-3.
Yeah.
What was the
Would've been
final
over.
score?
Would have been over. Did anybody get hurt? Didn't.
Yeah.
Who got hurt? Did Matt Ryan?
Tevin Coleman got hurt.
Please.
Oh,
Yeah.
see
Wait,
what you do?
how about that guy who took over the Monday Night Football game?
Tell
Was
me-
he there?
tell-
Was Devontae Freeman there at 28-3?
It was his block that caused Hightower to get the sack on Matt Ryan.
Okay, so
But you
nobody really got hurt?
You still
That's
won't
interesting.
tell me why Michael Jordan could not beat the Big Three Celtics and the bad boy Pistons in his prime if he's that dog.
23, 24, 25. And then all of a sudden he broke through against Magic Johnson, who I think is the second greatest player ever.
Larry Bird had a back transplant. Kevin McHale ankles. The bad boy Pistons got old. They got rid of Mahorn. Lambert go. Isaiah got old. So you won't tell me. I'm talking about in their prime when everybody was healthy and vigorous, had vitality, strong like Bull. Why couldn't he win?
Why, when LeBron was in his ultimate prime with his best buddy Dwayne Wade in Miami, he got blown off the floor in the NBA Finals by a record margin in 5 games? How do you defend that?
But you see what
How
you
do
did.
you defend that? By the Spurs, by Broccoli. He lost to Broccoli.
He did.
He lost to Broccoli. How can you defend that? He was in his prime. He wasn't a baby.
Let me make my point.
All right.
You do that to LeBron, but you won't talk about Kobe in Game 4 being up by
He had some
24
bad
losing.
games.
And
He had
then
some
what
bad
happened?
games.
Okay, the worst loss in NBA Finals history happened on who watched Skip Bayless?
Well, you tell me. You're going to answer.
All I know, this is what I know, Joy. The Lakers had 92, and the Celtics had 131. That's what I know. Anything else is speculation. But you don't
Wait, are
bring
you
that
talking
up.
about the Memorial Day Massacre?
No, I'm talking about Kobe Bryant. Game 6 of the NBA Finals. They lost by an NBA record, 39.
5 and 2 in the
39.
finals.
No mercy. Kobe Bryant had both of his numbers retired by the Lakers last night. During the ceremony, Magic Johnson called him the greatest who has ever worn the purple and gold. Kobe finished his career with 5 NBA titles and is third all-time in scoring behind Kareem and Karl Malone and just ahead of Jordan. Let's take a listen to Kobe talk about the legends that came before him.
It's not about my jerseys that are hanging up there for me. You know, it's about the jerseys that were hanging up there before. Without them, I couldn't be here today. They inspired me to play the game at a high level. Magic, Cap, Shaq pushing me every day. Baylor, Chamberlain, Goodrich, West, Worthy, it goes on and on.
We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard, who was there last night. Welcome, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning. Great atmosphere last night. It was a lot of fun.
Chris, where does Kobe rank all time?
Well, I don't, first of all, I don't have him as the greatest Laker. I got Magic as the greatest Laker. I have Kobe second, although I think Kareem, who I rank third, is the best player ever to play for the Lakers. But, you know, he played in Milwaukee and all that.
Wait,
so.
you have Kobe above Kareem and Shaq?
As a Laker. Well,
how about just as a player?
Shaq was only there 8 years. Kareem, half of his tenure or a lot of his tenure with the Lakers, he was older and past his prime, even though they were still winning championships. So here's my rank all time with Kobe. So should I just read the guys I have?
Just read the guy. You ain't got to give no numerical order because I ain't doing numerical order. I'm just.
You have to do numerical order.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
I'll give the number at the end. Number 1, Michael Jordan.
Oh, shocking.
I know you're gonna have a heart attack with my list. Number 2, LeBron James. LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Number 2, no question.
Lord have mercy.
Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Number 4, Magic Johnson. Number 5, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 6, and this was tough, Shaq. And 7, Kobe. And the way I differentiated between Shaq and Kobe was if I had to start a team, I would take Shaq instead of Kobe. But you could flip those. But I got Kobe 7.
You have to rank. Are you in trouble?
Is he in your top 20? That's why you don't have a numerical order.
Yeah, I didn't know he was ranking. I was just gonna put Kobe. I got Kareem, number 1.
Kareem?
Wait.
All time?
No, this is all-time players, not just Lakers.
Oh, Lakers. Oh, no. Oh, Lakers. I got. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought we was talking about. I thought we had top 10. Didn't say where do you got Kobe ranked all time?
All time.
All time.
Yeah. I got Kareem. Hold on, what a minute. Y'all got me confused by my own list. Right for a second.
Who's the best?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is number 1.
Okay.
Michael Jordan is number 2.
He just can't stand to give Michael.
That shocked me.
LeBron is number 3. Okay. Wilt Chamberlain is number 4.
Wilt Chamberlain?
Magic Johnson, number 5. I got Bill Russell, number 6. Larry Bird, number 7. Tim Duncan, number 8. I got old Kobe falling in. You know what? Oh, I didn't go all the way to 10. My bad. He got to go to. He got to go down.
Who's 9?
The big O.
Big O. So you got the big O above Kobe. So Kobe is 10th on your list. He is 7th
You are
on your
not a
list.
Kobe
So
fan.
Shaq is not in your top 10?
Any threat to LeBron, it just gets.
It ain't no threat.
Yeah.
He's
He
not
ain't no threat. He ain't no threat. He done. He can't build no more cakes.
will
He
give
can't
you
make
that.
no more bricks.
I will give you that. A lot of players do take Kobe over LeBron. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So now for an objective list. I, like you, have Kobe 7th. You've got him 10th, but I have him 7th. And we start clearly, obviously, at the top. Do I even need to say?
Yeah.
It's not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's obviously Michael Jeffrey Jordan. There is no debate about that. You're just being petty and peevish.
Why?
I don't
Okay,
know.
well, go
I
ahead.
do have to agree with Skip on that one.
It has to do with the poor man's number 23, LeBron James. Okay, so I have 3 Lakers ranked above Kobe Bryant because in order. These are just my all-time greats. I'm going Magic, Shaq, and Kareem at 2, 3, and 4. Shaquille O'Neal.
all-time. Okay,
Yes,
2, 3.
all-time. I was there for all those finals, all those Western Conference finals with Shaquille O'Neal. He was the most dominating offensive force, and I'll throw in defensive force together I'd ever witnessed. He just dominated. Nobody could deal with Shaquille O'Neal. He did not take care of himself. He didn't last as long as he should have.
That's
I'm
right.
just saying, I'm taking him in a vacuum, in and of himself at that point. I'd never seen anything like it before. So he is 3rd behind Magic and Kareem. To your point.
So you got Magic 2?
2, Shaq 3, Kareem 4. Okay. Then the great Tim Duncan is 5 with his 5
Hold on.
rings.
You got Magic, Shaq, and Kareem ahead of LeBron. Man, I got to get up out of here. Skip, hey, switch here with me.
No.
Skip, you ought to be
You gotta
ashamed of
sit
yourself.
and listen to this.
You ought to be
might not
ashamed.
even-
My turn.
You probably
It is
don't
my
even have
turn.
LeBron in your top 10.
Then number 6, I have the great Bill Russell, who, to your point about you both have Wilt up high. He dominated Wilt Chamberlain head to head.
won.
No, exactly. Wilt
7
would put
and 1.
40 and 30
He
on
was
him
7
and lose.
and 1 in the playoffs. 7 and 1. Seriously,
But
beat him
Wilt was-
twice in the finals.
Wilt would- statistically, Wilt was just
psychologically
demolishing him.
owned him.
29 and 29, what would
Hey,
average?
Average against Russell.
He psychologically owned and always beat Wilt Chamberlain head to head. I'm sorry, I'm taking the guy with 11 rings.
Did Havlicek,
They had
Casey
something
Jones?
to do with it.
Uzi,
That was the
Jones,
guy.
Sam
the
Jones.
leader, the driving force was Bill Russell. I know he was only 6'9", but I'm taking him from his era. Man, he ranks high. He's 6th on my list. I told you I got Kobe 7 because he was 5 and 2 in finals. I got Larry Bird 8 because I'll take Larry Bird. I told you last week. Did I not tell you? I'll take him any day or any night over LeBron James with the game on the line. I'll take him.
What happens when the game's not on the line? Because the game's not going to be on the line every night.
Did you see what he averaged rebounds? He's a 10 rebound. He's a better rebounder than LeBron James. He has the passing gift that LeBron James has. He was his generation's LeBron as a passer. He was a great passer. And you want to start with shooting stats? Do I even have to start? Do I have to start with he won the first 3 3-point shootouts at the NBA All-Star Weekend?
His first finals, and Bird was
Cornbread
phenomenal.
Maxwell
But
was
his
the MVP.
first finals, in 2 of the finals games, Larry Bird scored 8 points. And a role-playing Cornbread Maxwell.
He was a rookie.
I'm just saying,
He was a
but he
rookie.
was like 24 years old.
Did they win?
He was a second-year player. He wasn't a rookie. He was in his second year, and he was old. No, Magic won it when they were both rookies. Magic and Kareem.
Oh, yeah, 'cause it's
And
silly.
if I'm just saying, for consistency's sake, if LeBron James scored 8 points in 2 finals
That's before your
games in
time,
1
George. You don't
series,
remember that.
and a role-playing teammate, Cornbread was a very good player, but a role-playing teammate was MVP, You would
Wait a
take
second.
that title from LeBron.
How old
you
was
wouldn't even
LeBron
give it to him.
when they played Dallas in the finals? How old was
Probably
he?
close to the same age. He was, what was he?
That was in 2010. So
His
that was 7
seventh
years
year.
ago. So
First
26.
year in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
So he was like
I guess
26?
yeah, about 26.
Okay.
So about
And
the
he'd
same
been
age as
playing-
Bird.
How many years in the NBA had he played?
That's not my.
8,
I'm not
9,
trying to defend
8?
him. I'm just saying you always kill him for that. But when other players have their moments like that, you just
They
brush
weren't
over
moments.
it.
He was just a baby.
Two
He was just a
8-point
baby.
games.
They
Bird
won.
Bird was
was like
24.
24
They
years
won.
old.
It was his second year in the NBA.
But he wasn't the driving force. He was. Cornbread
So-
Maxwell was MVP. That's
So
all. I'm
Larry
saying.
Bird was
That's like Anderson
3-2 in
Varejao
the
being-
finals and lost twice to Showtime's Lakers featuring Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
LeBron James is 3-5 in the NBA Finals. I can't get around that. 3-5. How do you explain it? How do you defend 5 losses in the NBA Finals? You can't.
I defended by saying he went 8 times. Why did Michael Jordan only go to the finals 6 times if he's as great as everybody says he
And
is?
Bird only went what? 4? He was 3-2, 5 times.
5 times.
And it was really in a 5-year. It was from 81 to 86.
And they never
Just
won back-to-back.
Short stretch.
Larry Bird never
He
won
did not
back-to-back.
take care of himself the way LeBron
I don't
James.
think- how did-
LeBron James is going to win longevity
So now
every
we
time.
punishing
That
LeBron.
has to be
Durability
a
every
factor.
time.
That's what I
Not
thought.
the factor, but a factor.
But I had to factor
So
that in
after
with
Larry,
Shaq.
who do you got?
After Larry Bird, I told you LeBron is next at
He
9
is in there.
and Wilt is 10. I got LeBron at 9 and Wilt at 10.
know
Wilt
you-
won 2 finals. Really? He won twice? He was 2-4 in the NBA Finals, and you got him up in the middle?
What do you do with his numbers? I call the NBA record book the autobiography of Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt had one year he
Or the
averaged
biography,
50
whatever.
points and 26 rebounds and scored 100 points in Hershey, Pennsylvania against the New York Knicks.
Oh, well, are we going to sweep
His
the
numbers
Hold on.
are. I got to give him some credit for his numbers.
Hey, Chris,
I got him in my top 10.
Are we going to sweep aside the next year that he averaged 44 and 22?
Yeah, that's
Or are
right.
we going to sweep aside the year he averaged 41 and 23?
Are we going to sweep aside the fact that a 6'9" guy dominated him in
He
in
didn't.
playoffs?
Wilt crushed him.
He did
but
not.
lost.
Yes, he did, Skip.
Well,
Yes,
listen,
he did.
Go read any of the
Russell was
books.
a
This is way before my
44%
time.
shooter.
I'm sorry, but
He didn't average 20 points. Bill
never averaged
Russell
more than
is
18 points a game.
15-point-a-game scorer, career. Wilt averaged 30.
better defensive player, Bill Russell or Wilt Chamberlain. Did Wilt even think about playing defense?
Bill Russell had this many Hall of Famers on his team.
Oh, please. They're just a bunch of guys.
How do you
Well,
put,
they
how
are.
do you put
They're
LeBron
a bunch
at
of white
9?
guys.
How do
Well,
you put LeBron at 9?
The NBA was all white
How do you
boys.
say that with a
9?
straight face,
Okay,
Skip?
I'm not with the straight. My face is straight as it can be. 9.
9.
Show me somebody. He's 3-5 in the finals.
He's gonna
Count
be.
me out.
He's
Count
gonna
me
be
out.
the
Can't have
only
my own
player in the top 5 in scoring and top 10 in assists.
I don't know what you're so
Longevity.
upset
It's just
about.
longevity, durability. I give you. LeBron's the most durable player in the history of the NBA. I give you that. He's going to pile up stats that you can't argue.
First team, he's about to be the first player ever to make 12 first-team All-NBA.
Okay, longevity.
Hold on,
I
Kobe
give you
played
that.
20 years.
Durability.
Hold on, How many years did
He was
Kobe
better
play?
than Magic. Huh? He's better than Magic.
He's better than
LeBron
Larry
is
Bird.
not better
He's
than
better
Magic
than Larry
Johnson.
Bird.
Oh,
He's
please.
better than Larry Bird.
As
Well,
a leader,
he's better than
as
Larry
a big
Bird.
game player.
At least the
oh,
three of us can agree that Shannon's list is wrong because it doesn't
Oh.
start with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least we
They
can
don't-
agree.
Hold on.
I give
We
you.
can
There
agree
are
on
those
that.
that would go with Kareem. I
What?
give you that.
See, the guy got
me, but I give you that.
Who's won the most MVPs in NBA history?
yeah.
Who scored the most points in NBA history? Who's won the most games in
You
NBA
shouldn't even
history?
be allowed to wear Jordans anymore.
Who needed Magic Johnson to come along and take over the leadership of the Showtime
Well,
Lakers?
big men always need a guard.
Yeah.
No mercy. The Lakers retired both of Kobe's numbers at halftime during last night's game against the Warriors. But right before the half, we may have seen the dunk of the year in the NBA. Larry Nance Jr. honored Kobe by dunking all over Kevin Durant. It's a nice poster for you. But Durant got his revenge, hitting the go-ahead jumper with under 10 seconds left in overtime to give the Warriors the lead. The Lakers had one more chance, but Lonzo was blocked at the rim to seal the Warriors' win. Lonzo finished with 16 points, 7 of which came in overtime. Shannon, how would you grade Lonzo's performance?
Ooh, before I get to Lonzo's performance, Skip, I had to call 911. They said, "What is your emergency?" I said, "I'd like to report an assault with serious bodily injury." And it's like, "Can you describe the perp or the suspect?" I said, "He was of light complexion. He had a basketball jersey with Nance Jr. on the back, and he just cracked KD's skull." Ooh, Skip, did you see that?
I'm not going to comment until we're going going to talk about Lonzo first. Then I will comment on the
okay.
best player on the planet, Kevin
Don't
Durant.
do that. Don't do that, Skip. Don't
I
do
will.
that. I'm going to give him a C because I thought he played well in parts of the game, Skip. He was very aggressive. The part that I like is that early, especially the first half, Skip, he took the ball to the rim. Got his shot rejected a couple of times, but he's driving the basketball. And then the second half, Skip, I don't know what happened. 2 points in the second half, and then he picked it up again in the OT game, in overtime. And we saw what the Lakers saw in spurts. Guy that can grab the ball, get down the court in a hurry, dish it off. We saw that. But then we see a guy that's passive that just hand the balls off and go stand in his corner and say, okay, y'all, I'm tired now. Y'all do what y'all need to do. And then he gets out of rhythm, he gets out of his routine, and then all of a sudden but I like the fact that Luke Walton, you said you wanted Luke to stay with him. He stuck with him late in the ball game, stuck with him in overtime. He played really, really well in overtime. Now, if that overtime Lonzo were to show up for the amount of minutes that he played, Skip, you might be onto something. But I just don't see enough of that. See, people think greatness is you're great every single minute, no. The great players are really consistent. That's what they do. They make what they do like they ain't doing nothing. But then you look up like, how did he do that again? How did Brady do that? How did LeBron get a triple-double? How did Peyton Manning end up with because they're just consistent. And that's what the Lakers need to have from Lonzo is consistency. I thought he played well last night. His plus-minus was up. It's just when those backups came in. Kuzma did a very good job. I'm looking at Kuzma. I'm like, wow, this dude, he has unbelievable talent. But how you minus 15 in the plus-minus category? How did that happen? But Skip, I thought Lonzo showed us a little something last night. 6 and 7, 6 and 6. He played well, but I just don't see the aggressiveness in the second half that I saw in the first half. And then he picked it up again in overtime, and he was his aggressive self again. Great block by David West, but he's trying to get to the rim. But at some point in time, as his dad said, he's going to get his ball body, which is his manly body. He's going to have to go with a little bit more authority because, again, he only went to the free throw line once, Skip. That's not good enough when you're going to handle the ball as much as he's going to handle it moving forward.
By the way, I have to correct one quick thing that you said. You made that offensive mistake again of you put Tom Brady and LeBron James in the same sentence. That's
they're
wrong.
Great, Skip.
It's
they're
wrong.
great. Stop it.
Do not put LeBron in the same sentence with Tom Brady.
He's tired of the same sentence.
Sorry.
Same paragraph, same sentence, all same book. No,
disqualified. Tom Brady has won 6 Super Bowls.
No, he has not.
Yes, he has. 6. He beat Eli, but Eli lucked out.
Hold on. I see you didn't get him.
He did what he had to do.
Do they have mathematics degrees at Vanderbilt?
No, I didn't. I had to take math when I was a freshman. I did okay.
No, you didn't.
Back to Lonzo Ball. I have 2 grades that I have to give Lonzo because there are 2 different Lonzos. I give him a D for all of regulation, a D.
Wow.
I'm going to give him an A for the overtime. Maybe I should average these grades out to like a C plus. I'll give it a C plus. Lonzo Ball comes out and steps right into his first 3-point shot and shoots it very confidently and just flat out rips it, clean as you can rip it, right in front of Kareem and Bill Russell.
He's showing out, huh?
The stars were out last night, man. If you're ever going to put on a show, this is the night to put on a show and say, watch this. I got next, right?
Yep.
And from that shot on, I know he did a couple other little things, but mostly he started to drift, and mostly he disengaged, and mostly he started playing what I call hot potato. They pass it to him, he just passes it right back to them. I don't know what he's doing. I'm screaming at my TV, just attack. The stars are out. Put on a show. Who are you? What are you doing? And he drifted into the second half, and the second half was even worse than the first half. I don't know what he was doing. He was just out there. He was watching 4 teammates play basketball. And all of a sudden, the overtime happened. Who was this man? This masked man? Who was he? It was Lonzo Ball. And do you realize he had 0 assists in the overtime because he turned into an offensive force by his standards? So he steps right into a 3 right away with 3:20 left in the overtime and rips it to cut the lead to 2. And then he actually created his own shot, sort of a little step-back jump shot from 14 feet, and he nails that. And I said, where's that? Because his father kept telling us, oh, he's working on his 2-point shooting, this mid-range jump shot. Okay. Well, I haven't seen it in the game. Then I saw that one under pressure. That tied the game. And then he has a driving kind of a scoop, like a little baby hook shot high off the glass. That puts them up 1 with 1:03 left. These are big clutch shots against a pretty, I know they're down Steph and
Zaza and Sean Livingston.
And Draymond wasn't there last night. But still, it's Kevin Durant. He's kind of going mano-a-mano with Kevin Durant. And then Durant nails the shot that's going to be the game winner, and there's 7 seconds left, and Lonzo takes it out and has the wherewithal. They're out of timeouts.
Right.
And he jets up the court. He hits hyperspeed, warp speed, and he runs right through all 5 Golden State Warriors and gets to the rim. Well, at some point, to me, if you get to the rim at 6 feet 7 inches tall with the game on the line, you have to slam it. Just slam it, because he's going to have to foul you.
Right.
But he went a little soft. He tried to lay it up off the glass,
Right.
and the savvy veteran that is David West came right behind him and got a hand on it.
Yep.
Ball game. Well, again, I saw another big flash of, this is what I call special. If you got this part in your repertoire, you can be really good in this league, because I know he can pass the basketball. I know he can rebound the basketball. I know he can disrupt on defense. I know he can block shots. I know he can steal the basketball. But I keep waiting. I saw one 29-point game in Game 2 at Phoenix, but here's a little explosion against a really great player in Kevin Durant in overtime.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, as he matures, Skip, he'll get stronger, and he'll know. In college, that's a game-winning layup. In the NBA, they're going to challenge that shot.
Yeah.
So
that is correct. Maybe in AAU, that's a game-winning layup. Just dunk it.
Yeah,
he can dunk it
because he's there. You got to go with authority. You like either I'm gonna dunk you and get an and one, or you're gonna foul me and I'm going to the free throw line and I'm gonna make both of these.
I think he shocked the Golden State Warriors, and then in the end, he shocked himself. Like
I'm
got
here.
all the way to the rim.
Yeah.
Just slam it.
Yeah.
He can do it. Trust me. He's got hops.
Yeah.
Okay. So
you give him a
what
C.
else I saw? I'm giving him a C+. But I saw that man Kevin Durant last night without Steph Curry. I think he continues to prove he's the best player on the planet.
Don't do that. Skip, why are you doing this?
Do you see what he keeps doing?
I see what LeBron keeps doing.
Against whom? Against what?
Oh, LeBron, hold on. Did LeBron just beat the Lakers? Did LeBron just have a triple? Yeah.
That's you tell me the Lakers aren't any good.
Hold on. So why are you hyping Kevin Durant then?
Because everybody wanted to see what would happen. We got to see last year what would happen with no KD and Steph taking over. Well, now the driving force of the Golden State Warriors, again, without Draymond, there was no cheap shot last night. There was no Sean Livingston. You know what? He's proving what he showed us in the finals. He's the best player on the planet.
If you don't mind me asking. So, no Steph Curry, no Draymond.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant leading this team to the finals, NBA finals?
They'd have a shot with him. He is so good on defense. Do you realize he's second in the NBA in blocks? He's second in blocks. How great is that? He's dominating on both ends. Look what he's done. I know it's just been 5 games, and I can't.
5.
Well, what was LeBron's best win of the year so far? Show me. I mean, I'll give
Cleveland.
you.
I mean, we beat Boston.
That's disqualified. That's the Gordon Hayward game.
Well, damn.
Well, it just shook everybody
They got Kyrie, though.
Well, I know, but they were just shook up. And by the way, they're on their way to winning when he went down. You got to throw that game out. This game 1. That's the opener.
So let me ask you a question. So any of the teams they beat?
Well, help me out after that. Give me one other game. I'll give you one. They won at Detroit. Detroit's now, 17-13? They're not very, they're just okay.
You do realize that Detroit beat the brakes off the Celtics at home.
They did. I mean, Detroit's okay. I give you this.
Okay.
LeBron and company went in there and just destroyed Detroit.
What about the Heat?
What about them?
The Heat beat the Celtics.
They're having a hard time.
Did they beat the Celtics?
But Whiteside's in and out, in and out. Don't bring the Celtics into this. Keep LeBron in this.
Okay, then.
It's about LeBron. Okay. Everybody's saying he's on the MVP role.
The last 13.
He has beaten whom? Show me impressive.
The last 13 games, he's averaging a triple-double. He's out again. He's all public with this, Joy. I don't like it. He's making me out to be a liar because I got to lie publicly for him when everybody see him dating triple-doubles. You upset about that, Skip? This is what we know.
I'm not upset about it. Show me. Is there one big win on a Western Conference contender?
Well, why didn't Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant spent 9 years, 10 years at OKC? He went to the finals once.
Yeah, he was strapped with little Russell Westbrook, right?
Oh, he's strapped with it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Handicap.
You ought to stop, Skip, baby.
No, I'm not. He left because he thought he couldn't win with Russell.
And you know good and well. He's not beating the Spurs or the Rockets without Steph Curry and without Draymond Green. We know that.
You know what? If you give him full power except for Steph, if you get everybody back in the lineup.
Well, damn, that's a two-time MVP.
But if you get Sean Livingston back in the lineup, and Draymond and Pachulia, yeah, they could win the West. Sure, I'd give him a shot. He's the best player on the planet.
Not
he
even
is.
Close. I guarantee.
Look what he's done.
You'll find one general manager that say Kevin Durant is the best player on the planet, and that's the GM.
I don't care what GM say. I care about my eye test, and I'm watching him for 5 games. They did go to Detroit. They won at Detroit. He's averaging 34, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists.
In 5 games. What's he averaging over the 30 games they played?
By the way, 3 blocks. All we're talking about is no Steph with KD.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Well, everybody kept saying, look what Steph did without KD last year.
What is LeBron doing without Isaiah?
Well, I'm more worried about what he's going to do with Isaiah. You should be more worried about that.
Do what he's always done. Remember he had Kyrie?
Is he going to watch Isaiah shoot? I
You remember he had D-Wade? When is the last time you seen LeBron James average less than 25 points a game? Exactly. I don't know either.
Hey, how about Isaiah saying he's going to average 30?
I know you tried to call
30?
this. You called
I'm not trying to do anything. He said it. I didn't say. Did I say that, Joy?
No.
I did not make a public statement.
You know what?
Isaiah Thomas is going to average 30. He said it.
You know what my grandma say? Say the mouth is the most nastiest thing it'll say or do anything, Joy Taylor. And he said anything. I know what you're trying to do. You heard what Isaiah said, LeBron. LeBron ain't worried about that.
But Isaiah is the one that said it.
Okay. Mouth will say anything.
So he said it because he believes it, and he's going to try.
He's
going to talk it into existence,
Joy,
as LeVar
he said he was going to be a Celtic forever. How'd that work out?
Well, how's it going to work out?
Okay, then. Okay, then.
How many shots are out there on that court?
All I know is LeBron James is right now. Let's see. I bet if they do the MVP right now, I bet LeBron in the front spot. Bet that.
I don't know about that.
Bet money.
He might be. Well, I can't control what the media thinks. The media is LeBron.
You the media.
They're blind witnesses.
You
like
the media.
You are. I'm not. I don't have
You
a
talking
vote.
we go the last 5 games. They played 30 games already. And LeBron James is second in the NBA in assists.
Yeah. By the way, did you see what Kevin Durant did with the Stars out at Staples last night on Kobe night in overtime? He goes 4 of 4, 2 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line.
Against the Lakers?
For 12 points.
Against the
at
Lakers?
Staples.
Against the Lakers.
At Staples.
They're still the Lakers.
No mercy. Ezekiel Elliott is back with the Cowboys following his 6-game suspension. Zeke spent 6 weeks in Cabo and looks to be in pretty good shape based on these photos. The NFL Network reported Zeke also put together a documentary during his suspension, telling his side of the story after the domestic violence accusations. We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Welcome, Greg. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Greg, are you buying this as a new Zeke?
I am buying this as a new Zeke. I don't have anything else to buy. You know what I mean?
So you just go in there, ain't nothing else, you just get it anyway.
Look, what I do love about what I see and what I have not heard is that I haven't heard anything. When everything went down and he got suspended and he went to this undisclosed place that we now know as Cabo, we didn't hear anything about Zeke.
Nope.
We heard nothing. So that lets me know that he was seriously trying to refocus and lock in on, number one, who he is, his work ethic, him getting in shape, obviously. He looks great, and bettering himself so that he can help his team when he has the opportunity to, and he does this week. So I like and I'm buying everything that I'm seeing right now. I think he's in a much better situation when we look at guys returning like an Aaron Rodgers because he was not injured. There was no health issue. He went into this training with the mindset, you know what, this is an opportunity I can take advantage of, not I have to sit out and then rebuild something. So he got his body in better shape. He physically looks really fit. He wasn't not performing great when he left. So I think when it comes to him coming back, when we look at guys being rusty, all it is a matter of him getting carries. And I don't think it'll be a problem for Dak Prescott and that Dallas Cowboy offensive line to turn around and say, hey, Zeke, welcome back. Let's go. So I'm excited for what I'm going to see out of Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I'm gonna take the approach to wait and see. It doesn't matter what I believe, it matters what he shows me. And this is what we know, Skip. You can attest to this. You know one thing about bodies. Body shows discipline and dedication. There are some guys that are just genetically gifted. They just roll out of bed. But that takes dedication.
It does.
That takes discipline to do something to look like that. So it shows me that he was focused. Now, the thing is that you're going to worry about he hasn't been doing football. Nothing gets you in shape like carrying the football.
Without question.
Catching the football, having shoulder pads on. So he's going to be a little winded early. The thing that I worry about, a guy coming back playing a skill position, is hamstring, groin, calves, because you're going to start to exert a lot more. They ask you, you fresh? You're like, well, you fresh? Well, it's just like a quarterback. If you throw too much early, you get that soreness. You don't want to have him to tweak something and he's coming back. But they need him because they need to win. They know if they lose either one of these last two games, Skip, it's over. They're not going to the playoffs. They need to be 10-6, and as you said, hope for something good. But I'm glad. I agree with you, Greg. I didn't hear anything about him. I didn't know where he was until ED came on here and said he was down in Cabo. Skip and I was thinking he in Europe somewhere. Well, hopefully he wasn't training with the Russians or anything like that. But he was over in Europe. That's what I was thinking. But I didn't hear about Zeke doing and getting anything. TMZ couldn't find him.
No.
The tabloid, the Inquirer couldn't find him. So he kept a low profile. Hey, but I tell you what, he told the hotel manager, he said, keep my room ready, have me a nice plate of wings because I'll be back in 3 weeks because my season will be over.
You don't look like that eating wings.
No, but I'm saying he won't need to look like that in 3 weeks because their season be over. He can go back to having some fun. Skip, you got to live a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think he's going back to Cabo San, Europe anytime soon. So you're right in the first thing you said. The wise approach here is to believe it when you see it or don't hear about it going forward.
Correct.
Once he gets back to Sin City, that can be Dallas, Texas, because it is. For Dallas Cowboys, it's a rough place.
They worship the stars down there, Skip.
Do they? I lived there for whatever it was, 16 years. Everybody wants to see and be seen with the hottest Dallas Cowboy, and they're willing to give you whatever you want to come to their party and be in their group, and you know what happens. But I am shocked, seriously shocked, that he took this approach during this 6 weeks. It showed me that I think he is prioritizing football over nightlife because this kid loves the nightlife, or I hope it's past tense, but I doubt it is. But he loved the nightlife. I've talked to several people around him who were so concerned that he's having alcohol issues that are leading to incident after incident because he couldn't handle his alcohol. And they wanted him to dry out during the 6 weeks, and he did not do that because our man Eric Dickerson was requested to come down by the agent to impart some words of wisdom to Zeke, which I thought was another really good sign. But they did have drinks and dinner, so he's still drinking alcohol, which is fine with me. Got no problem with that as long as you can handle it. Once you get back into the potential nightlife that is Dallas, Texas. But did he go back to Columbus, Ohio for his 6 weeks? No, nothing but trouble there for Zeke. Did he go back home to St. Louis? Could be trouble there. Nope. Did he hang around Dallas? Because we know he liked to go out on the boat in Dallas and this and that. Nope, he didn't do that. He stayed completely out of sight for most of 6 weeks until Eric Dickerson sat here and said, guess who I saw? Guess who I hung out with in Cabo? Wow, he looks great. He sounds great. Eric's a smart guy. Eric is not easily led or BS'd, and he sat right there. I'm going to take it to my personal bank. Eric liked what he heard from the young man. Well, he's fooled some other people in his past, so now we wait and see. And it's what to your point, I don't want to hear about anything going forward because what if we talked about Zeke? Jerry Jones has to keep his cell phone like under his pillow and hope it doesn't ring in the middle of the night because that's what that's the path he's been on to date.
I think the thing for me, Skip, is that the best thing an athlete can do is know himself. Zeke know where the pitfalls are. The big trick is, or key is, to avoid those. He knows what's in Columbus, Ohio. He won a national championship there. He's a god there. He's legendary. Stay away from that. Dallas, you're one of the two biggest stars in Dallas currently. Stay away from there. I mean, obviously, your quarterback, Dak, Dak's the quarterback. They love their quarterbacks. And Dak. Now, if Dak were to win a Super Bowl, only Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman would be bigger than Dak Prescott in Dallas if he were to win a Super Bowl. Quarterbacks are legendary in Dallas.
Yeah.
Skip, know that about yourself. Avoid those places. I'm not saying don't go out, but you're going to have to set parameters around yourself and ask yourself. Because when we look at it, Zeke got a great opportunity. Would you say Zeke Elliott is more talented than Frank Gore? Frank Gore is a top 5 rusher all time in NFL history.
Yep.
Zeke, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. If somehow you in your career, you're not in the top 5 of rushing all time.
That's a good point. And I've been around Frank Gore enough to tell you, he is driven.
Yes!
He is 1,000% obsessed with maximizing his
And he got everything after what he's gone through, his family, his mom and dad, and the knee surgery that he gone through. And people don't realize how talented Frank Gore was. But Frank Gore had a Willis McGahee and Clinton Portis on the bench, and you.
He did.
What I love about this situation for Ezekiel Elliott is, number one, football was taken away from him. It was taken away from him for 6 weeks. Something that we all know he loves and adores. This means a lot to him. And I think one thing that means even more that we weren't privy to seeing with his actions is how he's interpreted by the media, his integrity, his character, all of those things. I think it now means more because once he's labeled as one thing and he's saying, I did not do this.
Yeah,
he's willing to sit down, do a documentary. I think this means a lot to him.
Absolutely.
To make sure that when moving forward, I can't put myself in these situations. So I'm buying it because it's not my job to hold somebody to what they've done. I can remember what they've done and look moving forward, I can say he's making some changes. With what I'm seeing right now and what I have not heard, it lets me know he's willing to make changes and that he's already done the right things. The concern that you guys are having is he hasn't been in these environments.
He's going back.
He's going back. And I believe personally that because of what has transpired before, he does not want to be seen as what we have depicted him as and what he's been labeled as. Regardless if he's been accused of it or not, this is a label and a tag that will be with him for
Well,
a
also
lifetime.
past the label, as you mentioned, he had 6 games taken away from him.
Exactly.
And as a 22-year-old, that's impactful. So hopefully going back, he'll learn a little bit more about who
He
to
said I
trust
did
and who to
bad
keep around
things.
him.
I just didn't do that.
Yeah, but what you said, like we haven't heard anything. We didn't know where he was. The fact that it was quiet can tell you something about what's going on.
That's why I tell guys coming in, the name on the back is more important than the name on the front. Because that name on the front might change. Guess
Without
what?
question.
He always going to be Elliott.
Yep.
You can't change
Just
that.
as a note for the game, Jerry Jones just said on his radio show that Ty Smith is questionable against the Seahawks with a knee injury.
Uh-oh, Skip. Uh-oh, Skip, you know what that means. You know what that means, Skip. You know, the last time Ty Smith was questionable, you know what happened in the dome.
That meant Chaz Green, but maybe Byron Bell would be a little better.
Yeah. No mercy. The Seahawks were blown out by the Rams on Sunday to fall to 8-6. The number of key Seattle players were out with injuries, and linebacker Bobby Wagner played despite a hurt hamstring. After the game, Earl Thomas called out Wagner when he was asked about the Seahawks' injuries. Let's take a listen.
To be totally honest, I think the guys that play, you got to give your hats off to, Wags and a couple of guys that play. But, my personal opinion, I don't think they should have played. The backups would have did, just as good. You normally see Wags, running from sideline to sideline, and he just couldn't do it today. But I think he just waited a little bit too long to take a step out.
Wagner followed that up with this tweet. Keep my name out your mouth. Stop being jealous of other people's success. I still hope you keep balling, bro. He later deleted the tweet. Flip-flop in the tweet there. Shannon, who's most to blame for Seattle?
Pete Carroll.
struggles?
Because Pete Carroll has fostered this type of environment where you can be blatantly and openly critical, not only of coaches, Skip, not only your coach, but the offensive coordinator, even if you play defense. He's allowed that to fester in between the team. And it's fine, Skip, as long as you're winning, winning will mask a lot of things. But when you start to lose, and we started to see this win, Skip, after Super Bowl 49, we never heard of this kind of outburst coming out of that locker room until that night.
Yep.
And then we see it. We see offensive players go and tell the head coach, you will not call that play again. You will not sacrifice our hard work. Pete Carroll have allowed this to go, Skip. So you know if I criticize the head coach or a coordinator or my position coach, I got no problem chastising a teammate publicly. Now, Skip, have I been critical of teammates? Absolutely. But I tell them to their face. I didn't, go public with it to the newspaper. Obviously, we didn't have social media when I ended my career. But I would tell the guy, that's not good enough. We can't win with that type of effort. We can't win with this type of practice habits. I would tell the guys, be it offense or defense, I felt as a leader that was my job. But to publicly do it, and then Bobby Wagner go on Twitter and say, bro, keep my name out your mouth? He said mouth. I'm telling you what he said behind closed doors. He probably told him, bro, you need to keep my name out your dentures. Skip, this is not good. And I said it that night. I said it will never, ever be the same. Skip, I can barely remember anything from the Super Bowls that we won. I can tell you every single play from that division loss to Jacksonville. It's not the wins that you remember. It's the losses that you agonize over. Because, Skip, you think about it, what they did. They went, in 2010, they drafted Russell Okung, they got Earl Thomas, and then they got Richard Sherman, and then you got Bobby Wagner, and then you got K.J. Wright, and then you got Russell Wilson. You had a stretch there. Now you got something, Skip, you've identified your quarterback, and all your key players are on rookie contracts.
Yep.
You had a chance. You want to be special, and that's what Mike told us after we went, Mike Shannon, our head coach. He said, guys, if you want to be special, you got to do it again. Because there have been a lot of teams that's won one in a row. Running in a row don't make you special. If you want to be thought of like the Steelers and the Cowboys, Skip, that's how the 49ers, the Dolphins, the 72-70, you got to do this thing. And Skip, they had a golden opportunity, and it's never going to be the same. It looks to me, from the outside looking in, as a former player that's played this game and studied this game, this is the beginning of the end. Because most empires and dynasty, they fail from within.
They do.
It wasn't because of what somebody did outside. It's because of what happened. The decay started on the inside, and you're seeing it right before our very eyes.
They sure looked special that night. They destroyed your Denver Broncos
Yes.
and Peyton Manning, didn't
Yeah.
they? That was that was as big a wipeout. It may be the worst, most one-sided Super Bowl I've ever seen. Maybe not in score, I can't remember, but it was complete annihilation.
Well, the 49ers said the Broncos,
Yeah.
55-10, they said, hey, hold my beer.
Yeah. But this was over from the first snap of the game.
Yeah. First third down. Whoop.
Whoop. I'm with you. I blame Pete Carroll, but I do not condemn Pete Carroll because he created a player-first culture, a player speak your mind culture. He encouraged it, and it really, really, really worked for a while. But it was ill-fated because if it starts to teeter onto the other side, and then something started to happen on offense because the team was built around the Legion of Boom, and those are big personalities with big game to back it up.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes this little third-round draft pick playing quarterback, and he starts getting better and better and better, and now he's starting to look like, wait a second, he might be the best player on the team, right? And it comes to the flashpoint. The turning point for the franchise is that final play of the Super Bowl, and Pete Carroll put the ball in the hands of the quarterback.
Yep.
Not in the hands of a team leader. In fact,
Marshawn.
was he the team leader? He might have been.
I think Marshawn had more cachet in that locker
I
room
think
than
so
Russell.
too.
Especially at that time.
No, way more than Russell.
Yes.
I'm talking about, did he have more than Richard or Cam?
Oh, he was the guy, beast mode.
He was the guy, right?
Because they remember that rumble, Skip, that shook the whole place when he ran through like 12. There were only 11 guys. Yeah, Saints. They remember that. That got them energized the way he ran. No question about it.
And it reminds me a little bit of your 2000 Ravens. You won with your defense.
Yes.
It was Ray Lewis and company.
Yes.
But Big Play Shea is going to make one play, but the quarterback was not a star.
Right. We had Jamal that was going to run hard, get us 100 yards, just like he was our beast mode.
He was.
You make the one play and turn it over to your defense.
But there was no clash between the quarterback and
No.
Ray Lewis's defense because the quarterback went along for the ride.
Exactly.
Was it Always
Trent.
was it
No,
Trent all the way?
started that as
with
Tony Banks.
Tony Banks.
And then went to Trent Dilfer in week 8, I think.
How
week 8 or
quickly
9.
we forget
Yeah.
because nobody really cared. He just was a sort of a caretaker of the offense.
Correct.
Just he's going to game manage you to get you home.
Right.
And you only need what's Ray always say? You just needed 6,
Yeah,
right? Give
yeah.
us 6 points.
Give us 7 points early and don't turn it over, and they won't beat us.
You got this. So, again, I didn't have a big problem with the call. I would have called a different play. I would have rolled Russell out. I don't have I don't have a problem with keeping the ball in Russell's hands
Right.
because he is an electric little player, man.
But you wanted a run pass option. You didn't run pass option.
Yeah. And yet, I'm going to remind everybody, beast mode from the 1-yard line during the regular season had carried the ball 5 times and gotten stuffed 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator, wins with that stat, but whatever. They're thinking we want the game in the hands of our clutchest player. It's the little quarterback. Is he not clutch now?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, and he was then.
But Beast Mode had run hard that
I got
night,
it.
Skip.
I got it. And for team psyche and camaraderie and unity, you want the leader to have the ball in his hands.
And that's what they're about. They were about smash mouth.
Yeah, smash
The
mouth.
Defense, they smash you. Offensively, we hand the ball to Beast Mode. He rumbles through, and everybody lives happily ever after. But that's not how it happened.
Nope.
And I think the defensive players hold it against Russell because they say, Russell, you were a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You should have the cachet to say, no, let's run this football. Even though he didn't call the play, they hold him accountable because he could have easily said, no, let's run the ball.
And there was some conjecture in the locker room, as I recall, that Pete Carroll wanted Russell Wilson to get the MVP and not Marshawn.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, implosion began.
Yep.
And I don't think Russell is beloved in the locker room. He seems to be respected, but he's not one of the fellas, especially the defensive side of the ball. So they seemed a split team where it was defense plus beast mode against the rest of the team.
Well, here's the thing, though, Skip. Most of those guys came in, they weren't married. Russell Wilson came in, he's married. So he's already in a different place. Okay, he goes through what he goes through. Now he's dating a celebrity again. Now he's remarried. So there was really no part in time where he could really be with the fella because you're married, you're in a different place than a guy that's single.
Yep. So, predictably, as happens in the National Football League, attrition took over. And all of a sudden, Richard Sherman's hurt, then Cam's hurt, and it starts to implode, and it goes all the way down to what we just saw get tweeted from one player to another. Well, isn't this predictable? Isn't this the culture that got set up in the first place?
Yes, but I would have never thought the way that defense, because you remember when Richard Sherman was going bonkers on the sideline, it was the defense that rallied around him and they bouncing up and down like, Richard, we got you. We with you, bro. We with you. And to see Bobby tweet that, and Earl was just like saying, hey, Wags gave us all he could. But maybe he just stayed a couple plays too long because that's not the Wags we used to see. And we used to see a guy go.
I understand that, but you cannot say that
No.
Nope.
Because you already know. Hey, Bobby, did you see what Earl said? Earl said you should have been out there. Or you should have came out earlier. You know, we got to turn. Hey, Skip. You know, we got to add a little use to that thing. We got to get that thing to rise, Joy. Because if we just say Earl Thomas said you were a little Nick, and maybe you that won't do it justice. I got to add a little something. I mean, Earl Thomas said, hey, you kind of hurt the team, and maybe the backup could have done just as good as you. Oh, he said that?
By the way, during the Rams game, I got one eye on the Seahawks defense, and I'm thinking, Bobby Wagner, who you said is better than Sean Lee, where is he? What's he doing? I didn't know he had a hamstring. So I was preparing to come in here and give you the business about Bobby Wagner, and Earl gave Bobby Wagner the business before I could even do it. But there's a legit excuse.
But guess what, Skip? Richard Sherman's coming off an Achilles injury. Yeah. Cam Chancellor, we're starting to see injuries happen to him with greater regularity.
Well, he's a high collision player.
Exactly. Earl Thomas. Remember, Earl had the shoulder, then he had the broken leg, injuries. So, and that's what happens, Skip. You guys get older, it's not the same. We winning, I'll tolerate old bad joke. We losing, I don't want to hear no joke. Don't be telling no joke, bro. I'm trying to hear that anymore.
It does feel like, despite all the personalities and leaders that are in that locker room, there isn't one voice right now keeping this together. No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then. Fox Sports 1 of 1.